assistance needed. Agent out of action.
I got you now.
Get him from the sides!
Vital signs critical. Agent incapacitated.
We gotta break that armor.
Immediate medical assistance needed. Agent down.
What is poppin', squad? It's your boy Jesimein, and welcome to my first official Warlords of New York expansion build series video for you guys. Just like I promised, you guys have been watching my streams. I told you guys I was on a journey to make an overpowered build as fast as possible. Took me in a day and a half, but boom, we got it. You know, skill god, we here today. As you saw in the intro, to get a little taste, it is an immortal skill build for you guys to use, for you guys to support your teammates, to be that guy that's carrying everybody in heroics when everybody's going down, they're always relying on you. You are going to be the go-to person. You can pretty much keep an entire team alive throughout an entire mission, no problem. And if you're solo, it's even better because it can keep you up every single time. Anytime you have your thing up, it drops for you. You're protected. You're keep going on the fight. You don't have to worry about somebody else having to join your game. If you don't have friends, this build is your best friend. It will do it for you. So I'm not going to overhype it too much. I'm going to get into the meat and bones of the build. Let's get it. We're going to start off with the specialist. I chose the technician specialist only because I like having higher skill tier. You do not have to do that. The weapons and the specialists on this build do not matter. That's all your play style, which is pretty much cool about the build. It is universal. You have to make up for your damage somewhere else. If you like rifles, you can use rifles, shotguns, whatever. It does not matter. But I'm going to tell you guys where the damage is going to come from, because as you can see, I do have 0 reds, which means I'm not going to have no output damage. That's why I went for the rifle, because at least I can kind of put out some DPS. It has a high base damage, so just to be able to put it out. But it does make up for itself in a specific way, and I'll explain that in a little bit. So getting into the mask, it's going to be a regular hardwire mask. You get a skill tier from it. Pretty much it's going to have skill haste. I'm going to pretty much abuse the fact that I'm going to have an infinite hive. You don't really need to run anything else. With this version of the build, I didn't really need to spec in too much because the concept is abused either way. You don't really need skill haste. You don't really need skill damage. So it's just pretty much having the skill tier. The backpack I went to is going to be the Aberton Dynamo Carrier. As you can see, I have 4-piece hardwired, which is going to give me the 15% skill haste for the 2-piece from at this point. 15% skill damage, 15% repair skills. And you have the 4-piece, which is the bread and butter right here. Feedback loop. Whenever you use or cancel a skill, your other skills automatically refreshed and instantly gains or total skill damage and repair. This is pretty much irrelevant for this build, but it's good to have. That's why I like having high tiers, because I can pretty much switch to whatever skill I want to. But if you want to use this particular build, this is all you need is this enabled. This doesn't matter. You don't even care about this part. As a skill tier, skill haste, armor regen. I'll probably change the skill haste out to probably skill damage to be useful when I do a different combo, because you don't need skill haste because of the feedback loop. Going down to the chest piece, I know you guys are looking like, oh my god, what's that chest piece? Before you guys ask, you get this from Capitol Hill. It's going to be a stronghold. It's a random drop. I got it off of the boss my first try, and that's pretty much all I know about it. But it is amazing for the people who play Division 1. I consider it like a nomad. So it's just, imagine a super version of Unbreakable. Yeah, that's pretty much just a super version of Unbreakable that goes for you and all your teammates. It's called the Tardigrade armor system. It has a base 170 armor, explosive resistance, and armor regen, and I have a mod slot that gives incoming repairs. The talent is ablative nano plating. Whenever your or any ally armor breaks, they gain 80% of your armor. 80%, bro. 80% of your armor. So I have 1 million armor. Do the math. You know what I'm saying? So they get 800,000 from me for 10 seconds anytime their armor breaks, and it is per ally. Everybody has their own cooldowns. You don't have to worry about one ally getting it, you not having it. Everybody has their own. So it is basically nomad for everybody. This is an extra benefit on the support side of this build, and it's good for you because in the place of which you're supposed to die, this procs and you're pretty much good for another 45 seconds. By that time, obviously, you could get a med kit off, you hit a corner, you can get out the battle and pretty much start the whole process over. So this armor system is definitely not needed for the build. You can definitely run this build without it. This just makes it that much more OP whenever you're in a group situation. Going down to the gloves, same thing as you can see, because I have 4-piece, I have all the procs from the gear set. We have a skill tier and skill haste on here. I know people are saying, why do you keep running skill haste on things if you have this? It's because sometimes if you're running double skills that are doing damage, sometimes you have to wait a couple of extra seconds to get that feedback loop activated. So I kind of wanted to lower that as minimal as possible. So whenever I'm running anything, I pretty much have all my skills up at all times. That is how I wanted to run it. Because as far as damage, the skills do enough damage as is. Going down to my holster, once again, this is where I started with skill damage. I'm trying to max this out, do that later. Skill tier pretty much makes up for itself. So you need 4-piece minimum to even run this build. This is the most important part. These two are preference. I opted to go for Gilligard knee pads just to have the armor. I have skill damage and repair skills on there, which is perfect for me. And obviously you get the total armor from this as well, which puts me over that grand mill. When you mix that 170 plus the 120 plus the 5% total armor, that's where you get this big bang 1 million. And I'm able to stay on the higher end of the skill tier. So just so you guys can see, the shield I am using is going to be the Deflector shield. If you see my Captain America builds, you know why this is so great. Even with this, I have 7 million health, more than enough. Yes, you can get 13,000 on the other one, people say, and all this stuff, and you don't get hit. But remember, I can die as much as I want, so why not get an amazing amount of damage that's given back to the enemy, especially in heroic. You see I have tier 6, so I have 2 blues and 4 yellows, which gives me 60% active regen, 250 health, 40% holster regeneration, and 60% deflector damage. Overcharge, that deflector damage will make legendary NPCs get melted, because even at 60, heroics get beamed by trying to shoot this. And the fact that you can actually risk it by sitting there because you know you have unlimited lives makes it so much easier when you're running heroic. So that's something to look forward to. And obviously the whole point of the build, which makes it immortal, the Reviver Hive. I'm going to have this on tier 5 with 3 charges, 50% revive armor, which is more than enough just to get a med kit off or to get out of shooting range, 25-yard range, and 350% health. This jump from 4 to 5 is extremely important for some reason, because when I was on heroic with tier 4, my hive was actually getting hurt. On here with 350, I had no problem. So that's pretty much that. So now I know a lot of people are going to ask if I think this is going to get nerfed. Honestly, I'm going to be real with you. Yes, I feel at some point this is going to get nerfed. It's just unintended, I would assume, for them to have unlimited lives. Yes, I mean, there's a chance at everything, right? They could probably want it and be cool with that. I would hope so. That would be dope. It's pretty much an unlimited healer at that point. I mean, who needs heals when you can revive everybody nonstop? The whole point is that you don't want people to go down and get finished, especially in heroic. But if you can always instantly revive somebody and not have an issue, then I just feel like this build is amazing. Now, for PvP, as a PvP player, I would not necessarily recommend this build. This is more of a PvE carry build for the people who are playing solo, for people who are just, they don't have nobody to come and pick them up, and they have to worry about staying alive and popping med kits. This kind of takes that away, right? So this build kind of makes it so that you can kind of play free, and you kind of get your pushes. You can kind of design it if you want to get an AR nice and just put as much damage as possible before you go down every time, because you're guaranteed to have this. If you work this right and get used to flipping this to refresh this hive, you should never ever be left without having this up. It takes like 4 or 5 seconds for the feedback loop to go on and off. You drop this, drop your shield, pick it back up, and you get that revive right here. So the people who want to know, it's whenever you use or cancel a skill. So whenever you use or cancel a skill. What makes the shield so strong is that you can pick it up and put it down every 1 second, which counts as canceling or using the skill. So your other skill is automatically refreshed and increases total skill damage and repair. Like I said, who cares about that part? The most important thing is automatically refreshed. So every time you drop that shield and pick it back up, you're guaranteed to get that revive hive back, which has the longest cooldown out of everything in the game, as you can see, at a whopping 172. So if you cut that down by 171 seconds, you have the ultimate gimmick, especially in PVE situations. And on top of that, as a support mechanism, you can definitely run this on the side to keep your teammates alive before they even have to go down to be revived, because this nano plate pops when they're supposed to die. It's pretty much like a last saving grace, but it's actually a real good one because they get 800,000 armor to get away from a battle, which is more than enough time unless they sit there trying to face tank. So if you fuse this concept of having this that keeps people alive with this that allows people to be picked up at will, with these four that allows you to always have access to this, which is ultimately going to keep you alive longer to have access to this, which is going to allow you to DPS and just kind of spray your way through a mission all the way until you get to the point where, you know, you have to rely on your teammates. But where you have the damage, now people are going to say, there's no damage on this build for PvE. How are you going to kill anything? That's where this mighty deflector shield comes in, chat. I just want you guys to know, listen, if you watched it on my channel, you saw how fast NPCs get beamed when they start trying to shoot this deflector. And it has so much health that it's worth them shooting. Beforehand, last patch, it wasn't high enough, so it would get kind of beamed off. But now, for them to break it, they absolutely have to maul you. And by the time they maul you, 60% of those bullets are going back and killing them since they do so much damage. Maybe it's because they're overtuned that they're getting hit so hard, but hey, I'm not probably, you know, if you can't beat them, join them and turn their bullets back on them. So that's where you make up for all that DPS damage, especially against NPC. So that's pretty much it, you guys. This is one of my first builds. It's of many. I have like 15 builds in my head I want to do. I already wrote some of them down. This is just probably going to be my most broken in terms of utility, because it does everything a support player needs to do. You keep people alive. With this, you have protection. You can tank, as well as you can revive everybody. So you're kind of like a medic slash skill build slash support tank at the same time. So go out there, build this. Remember, you do not need this chest piece. This chest piece just enhances the build. You can run any other chest piece if you like. You can even run the actual hardwired one, which increases the bonus if you just want to have more damage or skill repair. But if you do get your hands on this chest piece, fuse it with this combo and you will see the ultimate support build created. But it is definitely the GodWired build. You have God mode. You give your teammates like a Guardian Angel buff. You know what I'm saying? You can pretty much do some crazy things with it. So that's pretty much it. I'm excited. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Like this video if you guys are agreeing with this build, if you think it's actually a lit build. Dislike it if you think it's just too cheesy, man. You know what I'm saying? If you think it takes the fun out the game. I respect honesty. I just want to put this out for you guys so my subscribers can get a first-hand help, especially for the people who need to get the grind going. This build will make the slow and steady people win the race every single time. So I love y'all. It's been real. I would love to see you guys do some solo heroics with this. Taking your time. If you guys can record a video, I'd love to see it. It will take a long time, but at least you know you can do it. And not many other builds can survive that much onslaught from, especially because NPCs are so strong right now. But it's been real. Thank y'all so much for watching. Leave a like. Your boy is out.